Good morning, dear devotees and friends. Let us begin the Yoga Vasistha. Dikaladi anabachinna ananta chinmatra murtaye svanubhuti ekamanaya nama shantaya tejase. I salute the Supreme Brahman, who is beyond all qualities, tranquil, above all limitations, the embodiment of infinite consciousness, and can be known only through the proof of one's own experience. Friends, we are discussing the Vedantic the scripture, Yoga Vasistha. Of course, we are not reading the whole book. Sometimes we are taking it. Otherwise, it is mainly the philosophical thing we are taking. Now, here the Ram asks, how does mind gets tainted? The how does mind gets tainted? About that, the Guru Vasistha taught, as we have discussed in the last Sunday, the how one can go beyond the duality. The going beyond the duality is the happiness and the misery. This happiness and misery, these are the dualities. We are going beyond that. And he said that by Brahmaikam bhavayam sadhu Shanta tishtan gatavyataha tata te asu aham bhava sayameva vinashyati. Now here we have already discussed this. Brahmaika bhavam bhavayan sadhu. Now constantly we have to think about the Brahman. That is the main idea. And what is this Brahman? Consciousness. Now, this of course it is very difficult for the ordinary people to understand this. When we are talking about this, the Brahmaikam Bhavam, that means the consciousness everywhere, is not a matter of joke, it is very, very difficult. The constantly thinking about the consciousness everywhere. And then they, to introduce this, what they did, they introduced the duality. The Lord Vishnu everywhere, all pervading. The God is everywhere. Whatever I see is nothing but that same God. The same idea, but it becomes easy for the ordinary minds because the name and form is there. We can imagine that. When you are seeing at the clouds, when you see the birds, when you see the ocean, everywhere we try to imagine, my God, my beloved, He is there, that is He. We can see that picture. That is for the dualist who are practicing that way. But the Advaitin, it is only the consciousness. And how that is consciousness will come? All these names and forms will vanish. That is the way they will understand. So he is suggesting that if you go to beyond the miseries and only in eternal happiness, then you have to think about the Brahman. Brahmaikam bhavayam sadhu. The sadhu means the Holy One. Shanta tishtan gatavyataha. Shanta is quiet. You have to always live very happily and quiet. Quiet means he is not talking, not like that. Of course, he is meeting people, talking with them, but he is not having any desire. Since not desire, desire only creates problem in our mind. I like to visit that place. So, arrangement to go over there, all these things start. I like to acquire that particular thing. Again, you have to be active. But when there is no desire in your mind, You are very free. So it says the Shanta. Tata te asau aham bhava sayameva vinashyati. Then aham bhava. When the ego is not there, aham bhava is not there, then naturally you are completely free. Free from sayameva vinashyati. The aham, that ego, it goes away. Then the Ram asked, if mind is all this, how does it ever get tainted? Now, before we have discussed, and in Vedanta always it says, it is only the mind, it is your thought, it is your imagination, because you are thinking that you are separate from the ultimate truth. Why you are thinking that you are separate? Because of your ego. Where from the ego comes? That is the very unique thing. What I think I is nothing but the reflection of the consciousness. It is not the me, it is not the separate one, it is the consciousness that is reflecting on me. Again and again we give the examples, and suppose the moon is reflected on the waves, and so many moons, so many suns, but are they true? Apparently true, but in reality it is not. So the Vedantin will give the example, suppose you put the water in different pots and the moon or the sun is reflected in that. Then you can count so many suns reflection and because of the sun, slowly the water will also become warm. All activities are there. When there is a little wave, and immediately the sun will also move. So all these things will go on, but in reality the original sun is far, far away. Same thing is happening. That consciousness is reflecting on our intellect, buddhi. The intellect is very fine. So on that it is reflecting and creating a sense that I. The I immediately mine. Me and mine and all these things belongs to me. The ego comes. That is the English word ego. Ahamkara. Because of that, only reflection of the consciousness is creating so much. Now think of the original consciousness. So that is the source, that is the Brahman, and there we have to go back. How? But constantly understanding the futility of this. So now the Ram is asking, well, why the mind is getting tainted? To answer that, Guru Vasistha is telling, in reply he is telling, of course from the Advaita point of view, not from the dualistic point of view, pure Advaita, and he said, who thinks that the mind is impure? The one who is thinking that my mind is impure, I have to develop purity. So there, those who are trying to get liberation, isn't it? Those who are already liberated, they will never think that their mind is impure. They are already liberated. They know what is this. So that is the reason we have to understand very carefully. The moment we are thinking that we are impure, that's why Swami Vivekananda, he very forcefully in America when he came and he said that it is a sin to call a man sinner. We are not sinners. Who said it? It is in the mind only, from the Vedantic point of view. In reality, we are pure, we are Brahman. Only apparently we are thinking we are sinner. But that was only for those people, they were not ready for this Advaitic point of view to understand. For them, it was all right. It is all right. The I am a sinner means there will be a fear, and he won't do anything bad or harming others. So by that way, he is controlling his senses. That is also one process. That's also good. But when you overcome that, you are thinking that everything is consciousness. My mind is nothing but the reflection of that consciousness, and reflection is not the original. And if there on that reflection something else is there, I am not affected. Now suppose again, on that tumbler and that pot where the water is there, where the moon is reflected, something, maybe the dust or some of the leaves that was blown by the air and fall on that. And one of the leaves or the dirt, it goes on the reflected moon. It gets as if they're connected with that moon. Can you say the moon is dirty or it is covered? No. The moon is always pure. It is far away. And the reflection, and that means the mind, the who is thinking I am impure? That mind. That means you are associated with that mind. It is little tricky, it is little subtle. So we have to understand this. The mind is nothing but the I is nothing but the reflection on the subtle mind. So here the Vasistha first asked Rama, who is thinking that he is impure? Who is thinking that his mind has been tainted? One who is trying to get liberation. One who is already liberated will never think about it. Now, some people, if we are looking in the society, in some countries people are fighting against the oppressors and they are demanding the liberation. We want the liberation. They are sending the appeals to the whole world. Please help us. We have to get liberation. We must get liberation, and for that because they are some other people are suppressing them. But in here or the countries where it is already liberated, freedom is already there, they won't demand that. So same way, those who are already liberated won't think that their mind is eternist. They cannot think about that. Their mind is always pure. Why? Brahma Jnana, the consciousness, all pervading, God, all pervading. So one who is thinking that I have to get the liberation and I have to purify my mind, for him or her, the mind is tainted. So that is the main. Now he is giving an example. Rama, the air, suppose the air is blowing, and when it is blowing on the flower garden, and it gives all the beautiful fragrance of the flower, and then again it goes on a dirty place, and some bad smells are also carried by the air. Air is not affected. It is going on. Whatever is there, it is getting. Similarly, your mind is flowing. So don't think that it is connected with that. Disassociate yourself. Mind is action, and action is mind. O Rama, bondage is nothing but the notion of an object, an idea of an object. It is nothing. I am thinking I am bound. Bound by what? Bound by desire. Remove the desire, there is no bondage. Feeling of sin. I have done something, I have committed something which I cannot go and tell to the society. I have to hide myself. That is a sin. Hurting others, creating problem for others, which I cannot go and tell others. That is sin. And when I am thinking, oh no, this I should not do again, you are free. So that is the idea, that we are bound because of our mind, because of our thought. We are free because of our thought. So if we are strong enough to think that I am not doing anything wrong, I am doing my swadharma. The responsibility that has been given to me, I am performing that. Now a soldier who is going and fighting on the border, he has been ordered to kill. He is killing, he is shooting. I am not doing anything from my own. I have been given the order and this is my responsibility. I am performing that. Completely disassociate. His mind will be completely calm even after doing all those. The moment we get associated, oh, I am not doing the right thing, that is the problem. So this way, always, every moment, a monk is not supposed to do what the householders are doing. Nobody forced him. He himself has adopted that. That discipline he should follow. And as long as he is following that, he should feel free. I am performing what I am supposed to do. And I am not committing any sin. Why should I be bound? So that fear will go. That is what the Vasistha is trying to teach Sri Rama. You are performing your own duty, and by doing that, you are not committing any sin, anything wrong. So that way you are completely free. Have that in your mind constantly. Then what will happen? The worldly objects won't influence you. Otherwise, the bondage is nothing but the notion of an object. This notion is Maya or ignorance. I am thinking, my notion, that is Maya. What is this Maya? Again, it is the power of God. It is there in the nature. And it has 2 power and 3 qualities. We have the Vedanta, students of Vedanta, you all know that. It is covering and superimposing something else on that, and it is acting through the power of Sattva, Raja and Tama. So these are the Maya. So if we understand this, what I am actually superimposing, my word, I am superimposing. Well, in that case, I will superimpose that I am Brahman, I am free. This body, this mind, this association of this society, the world is nothing, is completely temporary. I don't belong to this place. Then you are completely free. One ignorantly believes he is imprisoned in this empty body. The Rishi Vasistha is telling, by mistake we think that we are imprisoned in this body. We are not. We are constantly changing the bodies. So that is the way we have to constantly think. And the conception of I, the conception of the world are but shadows, not reality. The conception of I and the world. When I am thinking that I am this ego, and what is this ego? Reflection of the consciousness. Just because of the reflection, there's sometimes even maybe a big officer or a powerful person, he is very humble. But his family members are very egoistic. Do you know whose son I am, whose daughter I am? And they will be creating problem. The person may be humble, but when those who are basking in the reflected glory, we are like that. The consciousness all pervading everywhere. That consciousness is reflecting on me, and I am boasting. You know who am I? I am this, I am that. This ego is completely unnecessary, and because of this, each and every one of us are bound to this world, and this world which is constantly changing, every moment it is changing, and obviously nothing of this world can give us permanent happiness. What is our goal? Permanent happiness, permanent joy. Temporary happiness, there are so many other things are there. But once you are happy, then after some time again you are unhappy. So this way we have to think the permanent. And what is that permanent? It is consciousness. Friends, I am not telling God, because we are discussing the Advaita Vedanta. It is only the Brahman which is all-pervading consciousness. The thought arising from ignorance also create objects. These objects are neither true nor false. When I am thinking about an object, for me it is true, for others it is false. So it is neither true nor false. So when I am thinking, oh, that man doesn't like me, that person is like this, I am thinking. Maybe he is not. For other people, very good. So this way, something I am imagining and which is true to me, as because I am imagining. But for the others, it is not. So it is neither truth and nor false. That is Maya. Sanna asanna ubhayatmikana. Shankaracharya is giving the definition of the Maya. It is very difficult to define Maya. Like we cannot define the Brahman, it is difficult to define Maya. And Brahman has no beginning and no end. Maya has no beginning but has an end. That is the difference. What is the end? The moment we understand this is Maya, for me there is no illusion. And someone was showing the magic. Those who are under the spell of that magic, for them everything that he is showing is true. But the magician's assistants, they know how the things are happening because they have assisted. For them, that spell is not there. So it is there for those who are under that spell. It is not there for those who are beyond that spell. The sanna, asanna, ubhayatmikana. It is sat, it is there, it is true for those who are bound. And it is not there for those who are not bound. This is the uniqueness of Vedanta. The Vedanta will never ask you to believe, to accept, just because somebody said, just because it is in the holy book. No, nothing like that. You have to understand it through analysis. So this analytical capacity is not there for each and everyone. That's why the Hindus, they have developed other three processes. One is the Dvaita, the Bhakti, another Karma, another the Dhyana. These are all different, the four different types of the systems they have developed. For any type of people, they can reach to the highest goal. But here, the Rishi Vasistha, the Guru Vasistha, what he is teaching to Sri Ramachandra is the Jnana. What is that Jnana? All that you see is nothing but your own mind's creation. And if you are afraid that you are bound, because you are thinking that you are bound. It goes on in this way: when one thinks oneself as a monk, never think to grab. Oh, who is a monk? Monk means as given up. A sannyasi, given up. Nyasa means giving up. If a sannyasi is going on grabbing power, then the money, he is not a sannyasi. Maybe he is wearing the garb of a sannyasi, declaring that he is a sannyasi or sannyasini, the monk or the nun. But if he is grabbing, a power hungry, wants the name and fame, then he is no sannyasi. Why? Because these are not the qualities of a sannyasins. So for that, so when you are not behaving according to your swadharma, you are supposed to behave like this, you are not. So that is not there. So mind, thoughts changes the behavior. That way objects are also neither true nor false. one object which is very tempting for someone, he wants to grab, there is a householder, the same object is not at all attractive for a person who is a sannyasi. So, it is there, at the same time it is not there. So, it goes on, he who acquires wisdom, he is fully awake in the supreme truth. What is the supreme truth? That everything is nothing but consciousness. Supreme truth. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya Jiva Brahmaiva Na Apara. The Shankaracharya, he mentioned, he wrote so many hundreds and thousands of verses and the commentaries and so many things. Then the same Shankaracharya said, I can tell you in half a sloka what the millions of scriptures are trying to tell. What is that? In a half a sloka, not even complete, not even complete verse, half verse. What is that? Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. That's all. Brahma Satya, the truth, the consciousness, all pervading consciousness is the only truth. And this Jagat, this world, this universe, this whole name and form, Mithya. How it is Mithya? Because it is temporary. Because to some people it is there, to some people it is not there. If it is truth, it will be reflected to each one equally. Otherwise, it is not true. So, when it is changing, when a person looking at the same thing from his own point of view and thinking this is this, another person looking at that in a different way, then it is not there. So, obviously, it is changing, and for the consciousness, no, it is very different. Is each and every one will feel that consciousness. I am. Even a little baby will also say that, I am. That feeling is equal all the time present with everyone. So, that consciousness is present everywhere. He is asleep, as it were, in the world appearance. In the Bhagavad Gita also it says, those who are Gyanis, those who are knowledgeable people, for them what they do? When the other people are awake, they sleep. And when all people are sleeping, they are awake. And sometimes by misunderstanding this, some of the people, they will be whole night they will be awake and going to bed in the daytime. No, it is not like that. The millions of people are there who are working in the night shifts, the different companies, factories, and driving the night buses, service buses or trains, or flying the plane. They are all awake in the night. Are they all yogis? It is not like that. The night means they are not at all interested for those objects. And some people, they are so much craving for those objects. I want that gold, I want that, so much so they will be cheating, killing and torturing others to acquire that. And after having that, what they will do? They will keep in the bank vault. Somewhere it is lying, and what is feeling? Oh, it is under my possession. It is in that bank vault. I am not using, but it is in the bank vault. And suppose there is a war, and suppose everything is destroyed, suppose that man is also flying from that country, what will happen to that vault? What will happen to the jewelry that he kept over there? They are all unnecessary things. But we cannot think about it. I am having this, I am having that. So, this is the way, if you are analyzing, if you are thinking, everything is so temporary. There is a word, the Sloka, that they used to teach us when we were young. Pustaka sthito vidya, parahasta gatam dhanam, karyo kale samutpanne na sa vidya na tad dhanam. If the wealth or the money is not under your possession, you cannot use it or not using it properly, then it doesn't belong to you. And similarly, the knowledge, if you say it is in the book, it is not the knowledge that you have acquired. You have to understand that knowledge and you have to practice that knowledge, that teaching. Otherwise, it is in the book only. So, this is the way we have to understand. The Vedanta teaches very practical thing, that you are consciousness, and we understand that. And to understand that, they will be telling the 3 stages, that Jagrat, Sapna, Susupti stages. And then afterwards, it goes to the highest form, that is Chaturtham. There is Turiya, the full of consciousness, nothing else is there. That is this we have already understood. Each and every one can experience it. Then when we are awake, our body, mind, consciousness, we can feel it. When you are sleeping, your body is absent, but mind is active. And we can understand the consciousness is also there. But a time comes when you go into deep sleep, and that is, there is no dream even. That means the mind is inactive, consciousness is there, body is not there, mind is not there, but consciousness is there. That way consciousness is proved. When we go to that consciousness knowingly, not through sleep, ignorantly we are going over there, but knowingly when you are going, that is completely different, and in Sanskrit they call it Turiya, and sometimes 4th stage, Chaturtham. So that consciousness is there, it is proved, and is consciousness everywhere. And this consciousness has no form. The Hindus never worship any form. Through that form they go to that consciousness. Many of the Hindus, maybe they don't know, we don't worship any form. We are taking the help of the forms to reach to that formless. Otherwise it is really very difficult. If you ask anyone to meditate on formless God or formless thing, what they will think? They will think about their own self, their friends, their relatives, something that they like. And after opening their, I have meditated on formless. It is not possible. It needs a great training. When the mind is completely aware, conscious that there is no form, then only they can imagine the formlessness. Otherwise, you need a form to concentrate. So, if you are concentrating on a holy person, those qualities will automatically come to you because you are concentrating. And by that way, step by step, we can go beyond that. So, here he says, he is asleep, as it were, in the world appearance. When the world is there, he doesn't bother about it. So, as if he is sleeping. He is free from all cravings. The world means desire, world means cravings. And in Sanskrit it says Ashana. And when the Ashana or Vasana or the desire are not there, that means the world is completely absent in. And he is free from egotism, and there remains no confusion in his mind. O Rama, he sees the truth who sees the body as a product of the deluded understanding. Product of the deluded understanding. What is that body? Now, this is a great statement. The moment we ask a child, who are you? Immediately that child is answering, I am so and so. What is that I? Body. Without the body, we cannot think of anything. So, the whole Jagat is nothing but the Nama, the name, Rupa, the bodies. the forms. But here the Guru Vasistha is telling the body, the form is completely absurd. It cannot be. Friends, we have to be very careful to understand this. The body is there. Without the body, we cannot think about myself or ourselves. And here the Guru is teaching, it is the product of deluded understanding. The deluded understanding means he knows that the body is not the self. The self and the body. In the Bhagavad Gita, those who have read the Bhagavad Gita, you know the two words the Lord Krishna has used, Kshetra, Kshetrajna. Both the Lord is telling from the dualistic point of view, I have met both, I am both. Kshetra means the knower, and Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna and Kshetrajna is the knower, and Kshetra is this objects, this world. So the body is nothing but the Kshetra. And the consciousness, the self, is the Kshetrajna, the one who knows about it. And what is this body? And if you go to they will be analyzing that the way Panchikaranam. The Panchikaranam of half of one thing and the 1/8 of another, like that the things are there, by that it is all created. So there are different philosophies will be explaining in a very wonderful way. Through the Panchikaranam, there are 5 different things, they are mixing and creating the body, the mind, these, that. So this Panchikaranam, the 5 objects, Siti, Yapa, Tej, Marut, Bhoma, that is the earth, the air, the water, the fire. So like that all the 5 will come together. And this body is made. But this is completely under a delusion. Why? I am thinking this is my body. That when the Guru is telling, Vasistha is telling under the delusion means I changed this body so many times. Friends, those who are following this class, so we discussed about Shukra. Shukra, he was the son of the Bhrigu, and he was deluded by some attractions, and for that he had to take 23 births. And then finally, because of his father's power, spiritual power, Yama, the king of death, gave back the same form which was the Bhrigu's son. So this is the way, 23, and in those 23 births, he became an insect once, then a serpent, then the animal, then a king, and then also a Brahmin. So many varieties of birth. Bodies are changing. But the same person, the Bhrigu's son, the Shukra, he is traveling. When the Bhrigu got up from the meditation and he didn't find his son, he became angry. Then the Yama came and told, don't be angry. Look at this. Your son is going on changing the body because of the desire. What I am to do? I cannot stop him. It is his desire. So that is the desire we are going on changing, and when we think this is the body, that is the wrong thing. That is exactly what the Rishi Vasistha is pointing. This is under the deluded understanding. This body is a deluded understanding. I am this. Most of the things that happen because of the ego. The millions and millions of people are dying because some of the leaders, they are thinking that they are that particular body. That is the problem. So Vedanta can solve this problem. Only we have to understand this. We at this moment I am in this body, but it can change. So this is the way, and then he sees pure consciousness everywhere. What happens? The delusion goes away if one can see the pure consciousness everywhere. And in the 15th sloka, the verse, Guru Vasistha is telling, Sarvatra oika ababodhena. Sarvatra oika ababodhena swastha anta shitala sada ni aham kriti akasha vishada tena samstitaha. Sarva oika ababodhena, experiencing the oneness everywhere. I repeat, experiencing the oneness everywhere. This is called Brahma Jnana. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he was lying down on his bed, and that was on the first floor of that building in Kashipur. Many of you know that holy place. And someone was walking on the grass down below, on the field, on the grass. That very moment that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was connected with each and everything, the moment that person was walking on the grass down below over there in the field, he asked someone, please ask him not to do that, as if he is walking on my chest. He felt the pain. Sarvatra oika ababodhena. Oika means unity. Ababodhena, feeling. Sarvatra, everywhere. Another example, if you have read the biography of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and he is the example of all these teachings. And there, the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the bank of the Ganga, and on that river, on the boat, two boatmen, for something, they were arguing. Suddenly one person gave a strong slap at the back of the another. Sri Ramakrishna felt the pain, and some of his attendants, they found the mark of that hand at his back. It was so far away. On the river only, on the boat, two people were fighting. He felt. That is called sarvatra oika ababodhena. And that God feels. When you are torturing others, God feels it. That's why they always say, don't harm others. Why? Because you are harming God. God is feeling bad. And particularly the ladies, the girls, and the children, the old people who cannot defend themselves, one should not do any harm to them. So that is again and again they used to teach. What is spiritual teaching? These. Why? Because by that way you are harming yourself. I am thinking nobody can see, I can just do whatever I like. But the God is feeling that. This is the example. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna could felt that. He could feel that someone is beating. Swami Vivekananda couldn't sleep one night. He was waking, he was pacing up and down, and he was crying. In the midnight, another the brother disciple, he got up and found that. He said, Swamiji, any problem? How could you sleep? So many people are dying over there. At that time in Turushka, and in the Middle East, there was an earthquake. Thousands of people, they died at that time. That feeling came, and Swami Vivekananda, who was in Calcutta, in Belur Math, he felt that. Of course, when you talk and we think it's a miraculous thing that you are talking, it is not. That is natural, that is normal. Those who have realized the Brahman, they are connected with each and everything. So they feel, and they feel for others. That's why the God is coming in different form. Sometimes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes in the form of Jesus, sometimes in the form of the Buddha, sometimes in the form of Sri Ramakrishna, at different times. Why? He is feeling, so he comes to help us. Then what is the teaching of the spirituality? Don't hurt others. Why? The consciousness is present everywhere. And you are going to hurt that only. So, sarvatra oika ababodhena. Swastha, the seeker of the liberation, Anta shitala sada, remain unaffected. Anta, his mind, Shitala, is cool, the calm, Sada, every time. Why? There is no desire. His mind is constantly calm and composed because there is no desire. Anta Shitala Sada, Ni Aham Kriti. Ni Aham Kriti means a free from ego. Ahamkara, ego. Ni Aham Kriti, negative. There is no ego, free from ego. He becomes completely free from any scene and as clear as the sky. Akasha Bishada Stina Samsthita. As the sky, the firmament is all pervading everywhere. We cannot limit the Akasha. The Sanskrit word Akasha means the space. No one can say how big it is. Everywhere it is. And wherever, now the modern scientists are telling it is going on expanding. That means it is already there. And when we are reaching over there or thinking this is the ultimate boundary, we will know it has been expanded. It is already there. The Akasha, the beautiful word has been used for that space in Sanskrit. Akasha. Akasha means all pervasiveness. And that is the reason when you feel like that is completely free. Who achieve according to we achieve everything according to our thought. Vasistha Muni explained this idea through the verse 16. Anything that we are getting, acquiring, achieving is according to our thought only. So he is telling that Anta Sitala Tayam Hi Labdhayam Sitalam Jagat. Anta Shitala Tayayam Hi Labdhayam Shitalam Jagat. Anta Tapa Upastapnam Dava-dahamayam Jagat. Now, those who are regularly attending, you are slowly becoming accustomed to this very simple Sanskrit words. The Anta means internally, Shitala means calm, Labdhayam Shitalam Jagat. Those whose mind are calm, they feel the Jagat also, the whole world is also calm, tranquil, peaceful. Now, what is this Shitala? Its literal meaning, it is the winter. The Shital means cold. It is not. It is not that way. It is there is no desire. Here, the meaning Shitala means it is calm, it is composed. Why? Because there is no desire. What is the mind? Mind means action. And what is that action? Desire. When the mind is not having any desire, then what happens? It becomes completely tranquil, calm. And you feel the whole world is also calm and tranquil. But the opposite, Anta Tapa Upastaptanam, exactly opposite. Tapa means heat. When your mind is agitated, is always very active, because of so many desires are there, you like to fulfill those desires. Dava-dahamayam Jagat. This whole world is nothing but the forest fire. Dava-daha. It's like the forest fire everywhere. People are burning. So if we think about it, some people who are very calm and composed, maybe just he is a singer or a musician or composing the poetry, writing books, or maybe the painter, their Jagat, their universe, their world is completely different. But those who are the underworld people, they are constantly selling the drugs, and then they are carrying the weapon and the drug dealing and the weapon dealing. The police is chasing them. Their world is completely different. So what happened? Why those people are completely all the time on run? They can't sleep properly. They are constantly changing their the rooms. Why the police is coming? Police is all the time chasing. He may be caught, he may be arrested, or the opposition party may come and kill him. So when you look at the movies, when you read in the newspaper, this is only happening all the time for those people. But the others are quietly, they're enjoying their life. Why these two differences in the same area, in the same country, same place, a different type of people are having different type of world? Because of the desire. So when my desires are like this, some people they like meditation, and many of you like to go to the Ganges to practice meditation. Nothing is there. Of course, very nicely kept, very neat and clean, and the shrine room is there, library is there, kitchen is there, and the accommodations are there. So some people they go, they stay over there, they spend time very quietly, and they feel joy because they like meditation. But those who are very active type of people, if they go to Ganges, it will be a torture for them because it's impossible for them to stay there without the action. So this is the whole world. By practicing constant meditation on all-pervading consciousness, which is known as Brahman, when mind becomes calm as due to no desire, then the whole world seems to be peaceful. Opposite to this, when the mind is very active, full of desire, to satisfy the desire, whole world seems to be full of enemies, opposition, fighting, burning. We think we are enjoying the objects, but in reality, we are being enjoyed. Then, in a Vairagya Shatakam, there is another. Shatakam means the 100, and Vairagya means the renunciation. In 100 verses, they are constantly going on reminding us how the mind should be. Give up, give up, give up. If you don't give up, the nature will force it, take it away from you. No, I don't like to die, I like to enjoy, I should be there, this is my son, this is my grandson. The nature will come and say, patting on your back, enough, come with me. And you have to go. There is no other way. So that's why the Vairagya Shatakam says that you try to enjoy, but you are being enjoyed actually by the objects. Bhogana bhukta, bhayamiva bhukta. We suffer more to fulfill a desire than enjoy after achieving the object. Think about, we wanted to get this, we tried so much and all our effort, and after achieving that, we feel no, we are not satisfied. The bhogana bhukta, bhayamiva bhukta, tapuna taptam bhayamiva tapta. Some people are going on practicing austerity, but they don't know what for they are doing. For the peace, the happiness, the love, the unselfishness, these are the things should generate. Otherwise, why we are practicing spiritual austerity? No, we have to fast and fast for the whole month, and immediately breaking the fast, we have to go for fighting. What is the use of fasting then? So we are actually unnecessarily not knowing what is the goal we are doing, and we are being tortured. So we practice austerity and suffer more while practicing because we forget the goal of that austerity. Tapona taptam bhayamiva tapta, kalona jato bhayamiva jata. We spend time in vain, not using the time for spiritual benefit, and the time pass away. Trishna na jirna bhayamiva jirna. Our desire never become the jirna, that means we can say old or the dilapidated or weak. We become weak. Hindu social system divided the life in 4 periods, Chatur Asrama. And that is the reason. As a beautifully, after analyzing, those people who could analyze each and everything. What is this body? What is this mind? What is this world? Each and everything they analyzed. Not that somebody came with a book and gave them, hey, you follow this. Not like that. They analyzed step by step. And that's why from the beginning that a human being, human mind should prepare, so they divided the whole human life in 4 different periods. That's called Chatur Asrama. Asrama means that particular period where they should be. First is the brahmacharya, student life. They learn about the life. What they learn? This world is temporary and life is short, and the goal is to achieve the happiness. But how you will survive in this world? So learn these trades. That is the student's life. Second, Garhastha, householder. Utilize whatever you have learned, and then in return you earn something and slowly get ready. So from the society we are earning by utilizing our knowledge. That is the Garhastha. And supporting the all others. Then Banaprastha, preparation for final journey, that the moksha. This is the time when they are withdrawing their mind. Now the mind spread it. I was alone. I got married. Then my wife, her family, my family, their friends. Slowly it became so big everywhere. Now when you are retired, you know that not many days are left. You are slowly withdrawing your mind and becoming calm and composed. And finally the sannyasa. So brahmacharya, garhastha, banaprastha, and what is that sannyasa? Giving up the complete ego and surrendering at the feet of God. Because I know this body that I was thinking is my abode, is my home, it is not. It is going to be destroyed. I am going to change the body, but I don't like. I want to get freedom. Thank you, friends. Freedom is the goal. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom is the song of the soul. And how we can become free? By completely free ourselves of the desires. Thank you. Let us see if there is any questions.
Sanita Banerjee is asking the first question. Please explain what is the main philosophy behind Julan Jatra of Lord Krishna.
Oh, Sanita, thank you for the question. But we were discussing about the pure Advaita. And maybe some other time we will discuss about this Julan Jatra. Okay.
The second question is from Devashi. She is asking how to eliminate the curtains of expectation from our mind completely when we are attached with our work.
Now, the Devashish, I think we should not get confused with the responsibility. Work means your duty, your responsibility that you have accepted. You should perform, you should do. You should prove yourself that you are lion in the field of your work. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is also appreciating that. But at the same time, you should be ready to withdraw, because you know that no, this is not the final thing, this is not the ultimate thing. So by that way, slowly you can get yourself ready to give up your desire.
Anupam ji is asking the third question. How food habits can change our mind, and what type of food should we take in our daily life?
So that Anupam ji, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter, it is the Sattika, Rajasika, Tamasika food, everything in details have been told by the Lord Krishna. If you please read those, and everything has been explained over there also, you will get the idea. Thank you.
Vishwarup is asking, what should we pray to God what should we chant in the morning prayer?
Vishwarup, as because I was discussing about the Advaita Vedanta, that is why I am expecting the questions on the Advaita. But if you like to chant, then please take initiation from some guru. He will teach you and that how to chant the name of the Lord in the morning. Or suppose you are whatever God you like, take that name of that God, that will help you.
Tapati Das is asking, how do we go above the pains of the human body in order to concentrate on the Brahman?
This is a good question, Tapati. This is, the mind get attached with the body and it is so difficult. But sometimes even, some people, even the tremendous pain in the physical pain, because at that moment you need to do, and with the power of the mind you forget about that pain and you perform. There are so many instances are there, incidents are there. The same way, if we try to forget the physical pain, that I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not feeling any pain, and slowly take your mind to that Brahman, to that consciousness, that all-pervasiveness, I think it is possible, but it is actually the practice, and very sincere practice, one can do it.
The next question from Sumana, she is saying, how to see God, how to feel God, how to touch God?
These questions are basically on the dualistic viewpoint. Then God, but we are talking about the Brahman, and this is particularly this subject, when we discuss about the other, then you can ask this question. The God, of course, that is the consciousness. If you think that everywhere, then it is you only. Suman, that is the you. That means that, as I was discussing, we are not the body, because the body is constantly changing. We are not the mind also, because the mind is also constantly changing. We are consciousness. That consciousness which is all pervading. That way, if we constantly think that we are all pervading this world, this family, this building, this association, everything is going to change. By that way, you can reach to that whom you can call God, that consciousness all pervading, whom we call Vishnu. By that way also it is possible.
The next question is from Rohit. He is asking, why Vedas promote animal sacrifice? It is said Vedas are written by rishis who had the realization of Brahman. Then why did they write such things which hurts innocent animals?
So actually, that is a good question, but it is your feeling, that you are feeling in that way. When you are uprooting a plant, you are also hurting that plant. When you are walking, you are killing so many bacteria. They are also living beings. That is all. This discussion goes on for thousands of years, is going on like that. It is a feeling, And if you can please read just now I was suggesting someone, the Sattva, Raja, Tama, the food habit in the Bhagavad Gita. I think that will help you. Thank you.
The next question is from Somha Sinha. She is saying, what path is good for us, in brackets, householders?
Oh, that is another. If you are asking that question, I would suggest that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned, for this present age, it is Naradiya Bhakti. The Naradiya Bhakti means it is devotion clubbed with knowledge, work and meditation. So, tad arpita akhila acharata tad vishmarane parama vyakulata. In the Naradiya Bhakti Sutra, that is the aphorism of the definition of the Bhakti. So, that is it can say God, you can say the Brahman, the consciousness, and we are constantly remembering that and never ever forgetting, but at the same time doing the work. And after performing the work, we are giving it to that God, offering it to that God. That means disassociation. And how it is possible? By becoming completely ego-free. That is the best way. So, Narada Bhakti is the best way for the present age, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna suggested.
The next question from Srima Vishwas, she is saying, what is mind? Why everyone's mind is different, as we all come from God?
A good question, Srima, but the mind is the reflection, and mind is again collecting different information. That's why the different minds. If the same thing was there, suppose from one light, so many reflections are there. Reflections are many. One reflection maybe get covered, one may be very bright, one may be dim. So the minds are different because it is reflection, it is not that original one. But if it is different, then obviously we can, according to our own effort, we can go back to the original, things will be changed.
The next question from Ramnath, he is saying, can I meditate on self immediately after japa and meditation on Shaguna Brahman?
I don't know whether you have a guru. It is better to ask this question to your guru, but I would suggest whatever your guru has taught, that you should follow. But after the Saguna Brahma, if you have understood that God and slowly merging yourself with that Saguna Brahma, that is the God, that all pervasiveness conception will also slowly grow. But at this, I don't know the advancement. It is better to concentrate after taking the name of the Saguna Brahma, concentrate on that particular God or the Saguna Brahma. That will help you.
The next question is from Rohit. He is saying, as we know that Brahman is everlasting, is Maya also everlasting? If we realized or reached that highest state, then is it possible to come back to this world by the cause of Maya?
See, this is a wonderful question. I think every one of you are hearing the question. You have to read little loudly so that they can. No, it is okay. I heard. The Maya, that is the Maya that you are talking about, it has no beginning. Why? Because it is only the power of that Brahman. It is the power of that God. That is the Maya. So when the God was created, nobody knows. So naturally, the Maya, the power of the God, also created with God, and this has no beginning. That is one thing. The Maya has no beginning. Then Maya has an end, but the God has no end. Maya has an end. Why? Because the moment you understand this is the power of God is deluding, trying to, there's challenges. So naturally, you will say, I am free from Maya. That moment when we are free from Maya and constantly going on in that condition, then there is no chance of going back and taking birth again. You are free from Maya. Thank you.
The next question from Ashit, he is asking how Advaita describes consciousness.
The Advaita, this consciousness that you are, see, this is a big discussion again about the consciousness, but each and every one of us feel that we are, that is consciousness. In Advaita they say the avastha traya vichara. What is the avastha traya? I just discussed in the talk that the Jagrat, Shapna, Shushupti, the awaking stage, then dream stage, dreamless, that stage, that is called the three avastha, three condition. When we are awake, our body and mind are active. We can understand that. When we are sleeping, body is not active. This is our everyday experience. But the mind is active because we see the dream. If the mind is not there, there was no dream. But the third stage, that is the proof of the consciousness, and Advaita Vedanta proves in that way There is no dream. That means the mind is absent. And since I am sleeping, body is also absent. But I was there. This I comes back and reports, I was sleeping a dreamless sleep. What is this I? That is consciousness. Advaita proves in this way. Thank you.
Shanti Gurumurti is asking, for those who do not have a guru, how do they know that God is guiding them versus their conscience?
See that scripture may be your guru, Shantiji. That the guru means he gives the one channel. And otherwise, if you are going on praying constantly, God himself will guide. He can listen, he can hear, he is present everywhere. So obviously, if someone is sincerely praying, I like to reach to you, I like to see you, I like to talk to you. If they are praying sincerely, God himself will guide. Maybe directly, maybe through someone, but it is possible. The God will guide. Only we need sincerity.
The last question is from Ashit. He is saying, what is the difference between Brahman and Maya? If Brahman is all pervading, then Maya is also Brahman?
No. See, that is the power is different. Now if the power of that, this is a completely different thing. The Brahman is all pervading consciousness, and through the Maya he is creating, and this creation that we see is like that as a magician's creating so many other things like that. So if the Maya is not there, that means that particular individual person is free from that and he sees the God. Suppose we go and observe a magician. I am giving this example again and again. He is showing us different the things, and we are really happy to see all those. Then we go on the stage and we become acquainted with the magician. And we talk with the magician, he becomes our friend. We invite him at our home. He talks with us, he takes coffee with us. So that magician and the power is completely different. That time the magician is completely different. So maybe that is the way we can think of that the God is completely different, but he has the power, and that power is called Maya. Thank you, friends. Thank you for wonderful questions, and I appreciate that you are sincerely listening to this, trying to understand, and we all feel this Advaita conception is the best conception, but it is very difficult to conceive, difficult to understand, because our mind is completely full with name and form, and that is the reason. But the grace of the Brahman and our self-effort, slowly we will understand that Brahma Jnana. Let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.